Welcome, everyone. This is the Mossy Ventures CAUK version, our Monday evening workshop. And we're very lucky today to have Sibylla with us, who's going to tell us how we're going to find the money tree where we can go get money for our startups. And got a bit of an introduction for her. She's based in Oslo at the moment. She's an entrepreneur and a keynote speaker, startup mentor. So her work has been at the intersection of innovation, sustainability, and early stage venture building. She's originally from Latvia, and congratulations to all the Latvians. Happy Independence Day. And she has co-founded and led companies, including Prototech startup Material Mapper, and has raised significant early stage funding while operating across multiple international markets. She's also the founder of Pitch Authority, where she helps founders and leaders communicate ideas with clarity and conviction, drawing on her experience winning numerous global pitch competitions and working closely with startups and investors. All right, go ahead when you're ready.
Thank you so much, Martha. A wonderful introduction. It's a great crowd here today.
Good to see everybody.
All right. Let me try and share my screen. Please let me know if you can see my presentation.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
All right. Fantastic. Fantastic. All right, guys. Thank you for joining in today. A special kudos to the Latvians here, to whom this is actually a bank holiday, as it is to me, technically speaking. But this is a very important presentation. This is a very important thing to discuss because things have changed. Things have changed a lot in the startup ecosystem and the investment scene in the last few years. So my mission is to help people get funded, right? So today I'm just going to go over the 10, I think, according to me, the 10 most important facts that you must know and understand in order to be successful at fundraising this year in 2026 and beyond. So here we go. Let's start with a few things about me. So as Martha already kindly mentioned, I am Latvian. I was born and raised in Latvia. I've lived across 6 countries thus far, all in Europe. And currently I live between Oslo and Riga, so between Latvia and Norway, but mostly Latvia. I'm like trying to relocate currently. I've been a tech entrepreneur for the last, I think, like it's basically 11 years now. So I've built a few companies. One of them exited in 2018. One of them didn't really make it, and since then I've been basically a keynote speaker and I've helped other companies raise money, pitch investors successfully. And all in all, I have already trained like over 500 founders, helped them raise over 70 million euros collectively. And I've also been quite lucky, quite lucky to win over 20 global awards, including the Oslo Innovation Week, the United Nations Global Housing Awards. I've been featured on Forbes, the Financial Times, worked with the United Nations, the World Bank, Visa, and many other amazing companies. And yeah, my goal in life, my main mission is to help others, help other founders get funded. So let's start with the fact number 1. What has happened in the last 5 or 6 years is that the investment scene has completely shifted. So if in 2020, we could see that the pre-seed ticket that startups would raise. So the first fundraising round that startups would get was around 250,000 euros. That has completely shifted. Okay, we're no longer in 2020. In 2026, the pre-seed median is actually around 1 million euros. That's just statistics. So 1 million euros 5 to 6 years ago used to be Series A. Okay, so Series A was supposed to come with traction, with proof of market, like go to market, founder market fit, all that. That was supposed to only come at Series A. But now we're looking at that at already the pre-seed round. So if you look at this number and you think, oh, wow, okay, things have shifted to the positive side, so I can raise more money in my first round. That's not entirely true, because with this number, the traction that you're expected to have has also shifted. So if 5 or 6 years ago you were supposed, like you could actually raise money, you could raise 250K with just a pitch deck, just an idea, just a good storyline. Then now you are expected to have the results that a company, a startup was supposed to have 5 or 6 years ago. So it's not that the check just got bigger, the bar also got higher. So you need to show traction, you need to show proof in order to raise any money from investors, because the risk appetite has gone down, even though the numbers have gone up. Your fundraise is 100% going to take much longer than you think. That's another thing that has shifted. So, if in 2020 it was not so rare for me to see companies, startups raise money from the first, this is like, again, an average, from the first reach out to investors, angels, or VCs, if it took between 3 to 6 months in a lot of times, that's no longer true. That is absolutely no longer true. It takes a lot longer, so you have to be prepared that it can take over a year easily. And this is not just looking at absolute numbers. Like, you have to understand that you need to be prepared. You need to understand that fundraising is not just like blasting out, emails and then getting some response and then getting somebody interested and they're going to write a check to you. It's not how it works. There's a long process between fundraising. There's due diligence, there's documentation, there's more than one person involved on the other side. So you need to be prepared and you need to understand how the follow-up works, especially in 2026. So the lead time from the first outreach until, getting the first term sheet, getting the first investors interested, until getting the money in the bank is most likely going to take you more than 12 months. So be prepared for that and do not think that it's going to be quick and easy. Even if you have traction, it is not. There's a lot of competition out there and you just need to understand and you need to plan accordingly. Now, of course, the fact number 3 is about the nose. This has not changed. This is still standing true since the first time I fundraised, and when was that? I think 2015. Yeah, 2015. This is still a fact that has not changed one bit. You will hear no's a lot, and especially as a first time founder, of course, that is kind of difficult to understand, it's difficult to hear, but this is a fact, okay? None of us are a $5 bill or a €5 bill. We're not supposed to be liked by everybody. Not everybody's supposed to understand what we're doing and why that is important. So just be prepared that 100 to 200 people are just going to say no to you and not understand what you're doing, why you're doing, what is the purpose behind what you're doing, because rejection is a part of life and it is a part of the fundraising process. Okay. Don't expect that your genius idea that you think is genius is going to land as genius to everybody else that you're talking to. It will absolutely not. And that's totally fine, because if it does, then probably something's wrong. Not just in fundraising and life, as a base rule. But you have to be prepared to like put the hours, put the work in, and also listen to the feedback that you're getting. If more than one investor tells you the same thing or asks you the same question that you're maybe not always prepared to answer in detail, that is something that you have to pay attention to. Okay. That is not just insignificant. If more than two, three, five, 10 investors have the same kind of question that comes with the rejection, or that comes with this confusion, or they don't really understand what you're selling, what you're trying to pitch, just pay attention, because that means that more than one person that potentially could fund you is a bit confused by what you're doing or what you're saying, or both. So it is a signal for you to sharpen your pitch, to be more clear, to maybe fix your pitch deck, maybe talk to investors that are closer to the industry that you're serving or planning to serve. So make sure that you always, always, always listen to the feedback, even if that feedback means that you hear 150 no's. Just keep going, okay? This is a numbers game, and you need to be absolutely prepared that you will hear a lot of no's. Number four, as I already touched upon, so the fact is that compared to 5 or 6 years ago, even 3 years ago, to be honest, investors are writing bigger checks, but a lot fewer checks. So there are more first-time financings already. There were in 2025 than any other year since the pandemic. That's statistics. But in total, we can see that there's fewer total deals closed. And speaking of Europe here, the pre-seed, the total number, the total money that you raise as a pre-seed startup in Europe has 2 to 3 times increased since 2020. So if in 2020 we saw about 250K, then now it's 750K to 1 million euro rounds. But again, that doesn't mean that it's easier. That doesn't mean that you're getting more money for doing the same thing or having the same traction. That actually means that you have to have more proof. You have to show more traction. You have to show more customers in order to raise the very first round. An idea and a pitch deck is no longer enough to get investors interested enough to give you money. So yeah, basically it's quality over quantity. You need to be prepared. You need to show traction. You need to have everything you can have to basically prove to the investors that you are one of the best, that you are one in a million that is going to make it big, because there's a lot more competition than there were 5 or 6 years ago, and you need to understand that. So yeah, traction is king. Traction is king. Product has become cheap. Don't be fooled by the fact that AI is making everything so easy, that AI is, left, right, and center. Everybody's a vibe coder now. everybody's able to build, a prototype, a working prototype, or even an MVP in like 24 hours. That means nothing. Investors are not stupid. So the fact that you no longer need to sell your kidney to to be able to build something, to be able to pay the full stack developers to build your product, it doesn't mean that it's easier to raise money. It's actually the opposite. You have to understand that there's tens of thousands of people that you are up against at any moment. And the fact that you can, get, I don't know, Claude Code or whatever for $25 a month, it doesn't give you an upper hand. It gives thousands of other people the upper hand. What gives you the upper hand is traction. It's actually showing that you are solving a real problem that other people are willing to pay for. And nobody cares how you code. Nobody cares how much it costs. People care about having their problem solved by any means. If it's a painful problem, they will pay for solving it. And your job is to go out and sell, to prove that there's a great number, a growing number of people that are willing to pay you and exactly you against these other tens of thousands of vibe coders or people or whoever they are that are doing the same thing or trying to build something similar. Your job is to show that you have the traction, that you have the conviction, and that people trust you with their money to solve their problems. If you can't prove that, you have a problem. So, traction, the king, is required even pre-revenue. So, again, the thing that I already mentioned to you, nobody cares who you are, where you're at, what investors and what customers care is that you're able to solve a problem at scale, even pre-revenue. So even if you don't have a product yet, like some of you who already introduced yourselves today that are just thinking about building something, thinking about creating a startup, going to market, you need to understand first that the problem that you're planning to solve is painful enough for people to want to pay for it. So how do you do it? You get your idea, not your idea, you get your solution, your idea of a solution. If you don't have it yet done, you have to get it out to the public. You have to get it out to the people. So that is done by just talking to people, getting pilot customers in, getting pilot users, getting a wait list at the very least. Have if you don't even have an MVP yet that the pilot users can use, get a wait list, see how many people sign up, go to events, speak to people that are potentially your customers, get them to sign up, to wait for your product to be done. If you do have something that you can test already, you need to get the pilot users in for free. Just give it to them, see what they say. Does it help? Does it not? Is this useful? Is it not useful? You need to get that early traction in before you have a full-blown product ready. Because when it is, if you have no people that have tested it, if you have no letters of intent, for example, from, let's say, B2B customers, companies that are willing to pay you to solve their problem. And a letter of intent is just a letter that is signed by a potential customer that is not legally binding at all, but it means something to investors. It means that there is a number of business customers that have told you with their signature that when your product is done, they're ready to pay for it. Even if it's not legally binding, it's something, okay? That counts as early traction. So yeah, all in all, you need to understand that no vision, no pitch deck, no blank idea is going to close you around in 2026. You have to have proof. It doesn't matter how small it is. It doesn't matter like where you are with your MVP, with your early product. Any traction is going to beat any pitch deck, any 90-second elevator pitch. Like you have to have traction, absolutely mandatory. If you don't have traction, you're not going to close any round. That's as as blunt as I can go. Um, Fact number 6. So this is kind of like a follow-up to the traction, or an underlying thing that you need to think about, um, is that distribution matters as much, or I would even say more than the product. You need to know how are you going to sell at scale. How are you going to get your product out to the market, out to the customers who are going to pay you for what you have built? You need to understand that, like I already said, building a product, especially a software product, I mean, hardware is a bit more nuanced and a bit more difficult. But building a software product in the age of AI that we're in, already 2 years in at the very least, has become very fast, very cheap, and everybody can do it. Everyone can do it. It's literally like it doesn't cost anything anymore. The things that I personally paid, and my investors pay like hundreds of thousands of dollars or euros, let's say 5 years ago, it costs absolutely nothing today. So everybody can build, everybody can afford to build. You no longer need a team of 10 software full stack developers. What you need is distribution. And distribution is the difficult part. Distribution, or sales at scale, is the expensive part in a lot of times as well. Even more so, you need to think and figure out how can you build repeatable sales engines, because if you sell one time, that means nothing. Investors don't back founders who are capable of selling to a few people once. They back founders that can prove that they're not just building a product that a few people want to buy. They are backing a systematic sales engine that works. You need to know which channels can you use. How can you defend your go-to market? Do you have, I don't know, do you have B2B partners? Do you have some unique selling proposition? Like, what is it about your product and your company that stands out? How can you, better than anybody else, get your product out to the market? Because nobody cares about what you're building. That's the truth. I mean, you care about what you're building, and you should. But the real question is, how can you take your product and spread it globally? What do you have that the other ones don't? Because there's so many, there's literally thousands. It doesn't matter what you're building. Like, you might think that you're reinventing the bicycle. Fact number 1, you're not. Fact number 2, there's at least a few hundred more people that are building exactly the same thing for the exact same problem as you are right now. So how are you better than them? How can you prove to me that you have something that these, I don't know, 1,000, 10,000 people in Latvia, in the Baltics, in the UK, in the US, or globally, how can you prove to me that you are the person that has it figured out? How can you prove to me or any investor that you are the one and your team is the one that's going to make it big and spread it out and sell to the whole world? Like, how can you do it? That's something you need to think about. That's all about distribution. Like nobody cares about the product. Product is cheap, building is cheap, software is cheap. Distribution is the only thing that matters. So if you can prove how to distribute and you have traction to back it up, at least some early traction in the form of LOIs or pilot customers, you know, like already mentioned, then you might have a good investment thesis there. You might. So, as much traction and as much proof for distribution channels, like the more the merrier, honestly, in this year and beyond, the better your chances. Now, another thing you need to think about, and this is where a lot of founders that I worked with get it wrong, is that investors never ever invest in your present. They always invest in your future. So before you even start, you need to think, how can you prove to the investors that your future is unicorn land? I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be unicorn land. Ideally, it should. But you need to have what it takes to show to the investors that your future is growing, that your numbers are raising, that your month on month revenue is growing. Not only the annual revenue numbers that anybody can fabricate. Like you need to have proof of traction. You need to have proof of monthly growth and sales, of repeat customers, very important, distribution channels. Like you need to understand the unit economics, because if you don't, then it's like a losing game. You need to look like you have a credible system, a credible model for scale, because revenue growth is not enough. You need to show to the investors that you understand unit economics. You need to be able to demonstrate how your company and how every single sale, every single customer is going to bring you more money, how you're going to make your company more profitable over time with every single customer that you have. This is incredibly important to understand. Not present, future. How can you show the growth, and what are the numbers to back you up in that? So, to continue on that note, here's the ladder of proof that I have created myself, inspired by ABC NFX's ladder of proof, where they have like 27 steps or something like that. I built my own. So here's the 7 steps, according to me, that I think are very important to understand. And I've divided them across 3 T's: team, traction, and timing. So we start at the basics, at the baseline. Number 1, you need to have the right team that is serving the right market. Okay. Sometimes we call that founder market fit or team market fit. You need to understand the problem you're solving. It has to be a big market, and you and your team, if it's either if it's co-founders already have like the first kind of team of, I don't know, 2 to 10 people, you need to be able to prove to any investor, why are you better than anybody else who's doing the same thing or something similar? Why are you the guys, the girls built to win this exact battle? Like, why is it you? Do you have an unfair advantage? Do you have the experience that nobody else has? How do you understand the problem? How are you the best people to take this to market? Like, how can you prove it? And the thing is, like, a lot of times first time founders don't really have that. And if you don't, if you just like are passionate about something where you don't have that much working experience, or you don't have that much defensible proof, then what you need to have 100% is an advisory board with more experienced people than you, who have agreed to put their face and their name behind you to help you win this in this industry that you're tackling. Because if you don't have that, then why would anybody believe you? Why would anybody believe that a 20 something year old with no experience is going to take a massive problem and solve it? If there's nobody with like real tangible experience behind you backing you as an advisor that says, yes, I believe in this guy or girl, they're going to do a great job, that's a big problem, and me with my entire experience and sometimes also money, I'm going to back this thing. So really think about that. Like, where is your credibility? Why are you the right person or the right team to fix the problem that you're fixing? Number two, you need to be fast. You need to have a working product. Again, AI has changed the game massively. Like, you can build a new product, a new MVP very quickly. Speed matters a lot. Speed matters a lot. With AI, you have to be faster than anybody else. Remember that it's hundreds, if not thousands, of people who are doing exactly the same thing that you're doing, and everybody has the same tools available, and it's cheap. The longer you think, the longer you try to perfect your product, the more money you're going to lose and the more momentum you're going to lose at the same time. Right now, everything is about speed. Doesn't matter if it's ugly, just get it out there, get it out to people, get them to test it, try it, tell you, like, give you feedback, tell you what works, what doesn't, so that you can iterate and like make it better. Very, very important. Number three, again, traction. Pilots, letters of intent, active users. You need to have proof that somebody needs it, because if nobody needs it, then what do you have? You don't have a company, you have a hobby, an expensive hobby, by the way. So you need to prove that what you're building is necessary by people, by someone times 10 at least, okay? That there are people out there that need your product to solve their problem, and they need more. They want your product. They're ready to give their money to you whenever it's ready. If you can't do it, if you cannot even get people to sign a letter of intent that costs them absolutely nothing and doesn't tie them to anything legally, um, it's a very tough game you're playing. So, coming from that up to the next step of the ladder is paying customers and retention. So, show me the money. Put the money where your mouth is. Where is it? If you get one-time paying customers, that's not good enough. Who's going to pay you again? Who's coming back? Who's going to keep paying you to solve their problem? Very important. Retention, lifetime value of your customers. What is it? Can you prove it? Can you show it? Who's coming back for more? Next up from there, numbers that work at scale. So, how can you prove that customers want more? How can you prove that the customers that are coming back are going to come back at scale when you move into new geographies and new markets or new industries with your product? You need to understand the unit economics, and you need to have some sort of a proof that you understand how you can scale this thing, whatever it is that you're growing. You need to have a repeatable growth channel that works. Again, this is back to the systematic approach. This is back to understanding how the sales engine can work. How can it grow? How can you grow? How can you get out to more customers? How does it keep working? And how does getting a customer in get cheaper, not more expensive? Because this is the customer acquisition cost that you need to keep pushing down, and you need to have proof to that. um
Sibylla,
yeah,
sorry, excuse me. There's a question in the chat.
sure.
Why is number two, working product plus shipping speed, labeled under team? And thanks a lot for such an insightful session.
Why is it under team? um Good
Working
question,
product
actually.
and
Yeah,
ship
good.
speed.
A good question. because I put it there because I guess because of my own experience that the team is typically the reason why the shipping speed and the working product lags behind. So having worked with oh God, I can't even count how many full stack developers, like they always want to make things perfect. And founders do the same mistake a lot of times, like, oh no, it's not ready. Let's just keep it, let's just keep working on the product. Let's just keep working on the MVP. And when it's ready, it's never going to be ready, right? And this is basically the problem of the team, and this is the responsibility of the founder to make the decision to push it out there, to take it out to market. And even if it's not perfect, even if there's bugs, even if there's stuff to fix, it doesn't matter. Ship it, just get it out there, get the feedback, and then you can keep iterating. So it is 100% the team's responsibility to make that decision to ship it even if it's not perfect. So this is like basically the reason why I put it under the team, because it's a decision making process, right? Like you need to understand that you need, like, the sooner you're going to get feedback, the faster you'll be able to iterate and make your product something that actually solves the problem if it doesn't yet. So I hope that answers the question. All right. Now, the last part, number 7, compounding metrics, network effects, getting investors to chase you. That is the main thing. That is the lucky number 7, why I kept it to 7. What you actually want is investors chasing you, not the other way around. And there's no way you're going to achieve that unless you have defensible growth, you have compounding growth, you have like you can prove that customers, that you understand the market, that customers want your product, that you can defend your growth metrics, you can defend how you're going to spread from one market to another or one industry to another. Okay. Without compound metrics and having proven the distribution channels that you have, you just don't have enough proof for anybody to pay attention to you, and you will have to keep knocking on hundreds of doors and try to get investors to chase you, to speak to you, to look at you. But if you're out there, if you have proven that what you're doing matters at scale, potentially at scale, then that's the point. This is the point when you have defense. This is the point where you get investors to actually look at you and look for you and come to you, not the other way around. And that's where you ideally want to be, is this point number 7. But you cannot get to 7 without 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, actually, like I would suggest, like, everyone to whom this is important, like, just take a screenshot of this, so that you have it. All right. Moving on. So, very important. Where you think you are is not necessarily where investors think you are. So it's not necessarily where investors put you. So if you say that we have early traction, what does that really mean? Can you put a number to it? Saying that you have traction, early traction, doesn't matter how early. If you cannot put a number on it, like, what is it? Like, how many pilots? Like 2, 5, 10, 20, 50? What is it? Do you have revenue? What is traction? Explain to me in real numbers. Like, this is, without numbers, we have early traction as an empty sentence, doesn't tell me anything. Customers love us. Okay, who are the customers? Who loves you? Exactly why? Who paid to you more than once? Can you show me how many of those repeat customers you have? If you cannot, again, empty sentence. We're at the seed stage. What? How are you at the seed stage with our pre-seed? I see this constantly. I don't know why, but like founders like to say that they're seed without having ever raised pre-seed. So don't rename the stage. Say exactly where you are. Show me the traction that you have. Show me the distribution channels that you have. Just don't rename it. It doesn't make you sound more impressive. Doesn't make you sound better. The market is huge, or Tam Sam Som. Like how is it huge? Like um nobody cares about absolute numbers of the market that I also constantly see on pitch decks. It's like our total addressable market is, I don't know, 30 billion worldwide. Okay, fantastic. But like what does it mean? It means absolutely nothing. It means absolutely nothing to me as an investor. It means absolutely nothing if you cannot prove to me that you can take at least a tiny little piece of that pie, and you have the proof behind that. You understand how it works, you understand how the distribution channels work, you have some traction to at least prove that you can at least go after, I don't know, like half a billion out of those 30 billion. Like nobody cares about you doing your Google research or asking ChatGPT how big the market is. Like show what you actually can prove. That's what matters, not the entire market. There's thousands of people going after the same market. Show me why are you the one who's going to take any piece of it. Now, back to what we already started a little bit. the first impression. The first impression matters the most. So when you speak to an investor that you don't know of, or actually, this is not just about investors, this is about any first kind of interaction with another human being. You have 90 seconds to leave a lasting impression about yourself, who you are, what you do, and why what you do matters, especially when you're trying to raise investment. So, 90 seconds. If you nail the 90 seconds, you might earn the next 90 minutes with the investor the same day or another day, doesn't matter. You need to have a good opener, because if you don't have a good opener, then you will lose your entire pitch. And I'll show you right now what I mean by that. Take a screenshot, please. This is very, very important. This is my, how to say, like, kind of like yeah, strategy. I don't know, a framework, more like a framework for nailing the first 90 seconds. Or if you want an elevator pitch, the elevator goes ding, you get in the elevator, there is a big investor in front of you, and you have maximum 90 seconds to impress that investor with who you are, what you do, and why it is important. So pay attention, very important. What is your company? What is the category? For what audience? That's number one. Number two, why is it important right now? Why do you exist? Why is it a painful problem that you are tackling right now? What is broken? What is broken in 2026 that you and your team are fixing right now? Number three, the insight. So like just compared to something else. So most companies or most teams do this, but we have found that we can do that. Very simple. Number four, proof. In, I don't know, whatever time frame, we have achieved, bam, number. Just drop it there. So this is the traction part that you have to have nailed. Even if you're pre-revenue, I don't care. Get the LOIs, get the pilots in, just have some proof so that the person you're talking to, the investor, like cares. And why is it you? So again, team traction, why you? Who are you? What do you know that nobody else knows? What do you have specifically that gives you an upper hand against all of these thousands of people that are doing the same thing that you're doing right now? Why you? You have to have the answer. And always finish with the ask. What are you raising? If you're not raising, then what do you need? Partnerships, new customers, pilots. What is it that you need? Why are you even talking to me? Like, prove to me that you understand who you are, where you're at, and what you're doing. And why are you talking to me? How can I help you? And what do you want to reach? That's like the basics. This is how it looks like. So this is actually the company that I exited in 2018, Antlos. So just to give you a very quick like run through how it looks like. So what the company was. So Antlos is or was the Airbnb of boats for travelers without a skipper's license. Why now? Airbnb and ride sharing proved that people will and they do trust strangers' assets. So Airbnb started with houses, so we thought boats were next. Insight. So most boat rentals make you bring a boating license. We bring the skipper and the real experience, and you don't need a license with you. Proof. We already had over 500 bookings before raising a single euro from investors. Why you or why us? Two of the founders were basically born on boats in Venice, Italy. There were pro skippers who basically watched Airbnb take a category and thought that they can do the same for boats. And the ask, we're raising 1.5 million euros to scale the company across the Mediterranean, which we actually did. Now, this number 9, my lucky number, this is a key thing that you need to understand. And this is where most founders actually fail in the narrative or in how they're trying to sell what they're doing, is that you're not selling your product. You are, when you're talking to investors, you're selling shares of your company. And it has nothing or little to do with your product. Your company is not your product. It's not the same. Stop trying to sell investors your product because they don't care. Investors care about traction, who pays you to solve the problem, who they care about who and how many people are actually paying you for your product. But they don't care about your product. Traction is what matters to investors. Timing. Why now is the right time to scale whatever you're doing? And team. Why are you the best people to execute? So this is my fundable, trademarked, basic fundraising 3 T's strategy: traction, timing, team. Who is paying you to solve their problem at scale? Why is it now the right time? Why has it never been a better time to do what you're doing? And prove to me that you and your team are the best people to execute exactly on this industry, on this problem solving. Why are you the best? If you can nail these 3 T's, then you're in a good place. But always remember that when you're speaking to investors, you're selling an engine. You're not selling a product. You are selling a company, and the company is not tied to the product. The company consists of these 3 T's: traction, timing, and team. Now, before you speak to investors, you need to be ready. Build the answers to everything before you get any questions. So the deliverables you need to have is a slide deck. 10 to 14 slides is more than enough. Like, do not go over that because nobody has time for it. People's attention spans are shorter than ever. So keep it short. Problem, solution, why you, why now? Founder story. In one sentence, who are you? Why do you matter? Why do you matter to the company that you're building? What is your additional value to the company that you're building? What is your financial plan? Don't go fully into these 5, 10-year-old made up stories. Everybody knows that's like, I'm sorry, but BS. That's not realistic, okay? Make a 1-year plan that is somewhat realistic and tied to your traction and what you already have to prove. Documentation, data room, contracts, ownership, customers, IP. What do you have to show to prove to the investors that you are serious, that you have everything in order, that this is not like a pitch deck alone is not going to solve anything for you. You will have to have a lot more proof, LOIs, if you have first customers, contracts with those customers. What does the ownership structure of the company looks like? Do you have any IP whatsoever? Anything defendable? Just have it ready. And FAQ, like very, very simple. Again, this is what I already mentioned. If investors keep asking you the same questions, just keep your tabs open, okay? Just have answers to the questions before you even get them. You need to be prepared to answer whatever comes your way. Yeah, and don't pitch anybody before you have a full-on pitch deck that works, because then you're just going to sound confused and not prepared. Your pitch is your first product demo. And the one truth that I have come across a lot of times is that the founders who are successful at raising money are not always the best builders, but they're the best communicators. You need to be able to explain very clearly who you are, what you do, and why it matters. Because if you cannot, then nobody can understand you. And that's not soft skills, they're fundraising skills, absolutely. Because how you pitch, that shows investors how well you're able to sell, lead, and recruit at scale as well. So be sure that your pitch is nailed to the T. Very important. If you want me to help you fix yours, you can take a picture of this beautiful dinosaur QR code here. That's one of the things that I do. I actually have a product or a service where you send me your pitch deck and you will get a full analysis, basically a pitch deck review done by me. I will go through every single slide in your pitch deck and tell you exactly what is wrong, exactly what is right, and what investors want to see and how it should look like before you're ready to speak to them. So yeah, if you want my help, go to SibilaStrupolo.com or just take a picture of this cute little dinosaur inside the QR code, and I'll be happy to help you. Yeah, again, I've worked with over 500 founders, helped them raise over 770 million euros that I know of for sure. And this is just one of the feedbacks that I've received recently from a dear customer, a client of mine, Munir, who's actually in the US and building a system for small business owners to have all of their documentation in one place. So kind of like a personalized Google Drive, I would say, for small venture builders. Yeah, and that's it. I guess we have maybe a couple more minutes to answer more questions. Thank you for being here.
There's,
And please
let's
connect
see.
with me.
Yes, so in the chat, any extra piece of advice on raising from CVC and the latest changes in trends there?
I mean, I just went through the latest changes that
Yeah,
basically you need
yeah,
to show
okay, so
traction.
maybe they can, yeah, and
That's like,
that person did come in late, so I'm recording this, yeah, corporate VCs, and I'll put
corporate
the,
VC is the same as angels, the same as anybody. Just show traction, guys. Yeah.
okay, so I am recording this. I'll put the link to our YouTube channel in the chat. Also, our autumn rounds are going to be starting in August and September. So if you want to link with me, and then I can get you into the autumn round, and Sibyl will set you up so that you'll win. Right, Sibyl?
Of course. Of course. I'm here for it. I want to see
Yeah,
everybody win.
that's right.
Um, Sibylla, thank you very much for the presentation. I really enjoyed it. Sorry for the lack of video. I'm just in the wrong settings right now.
No worries.
Yeah, I have just a couple of questions. You've mentioned a lot that, during the pre-seed stage, you need to kind of nail distribution. So I wonder how
Mhm.
important that is at pre-seed stage exactly, because historically that's been like around a
It's not
Maybe,
anymore. I'm sorry. It's not.
yeah. So, we really have
Mm.
to understand the unit economics. I get it, but like, do we really need to like figure out how to scale? Like, if we have attraction, okay, that's
No,
done. We
I
have,
mean, you you need to have a plan, and you need to have
hmm
some sort of like tangible proof that it's not just like an idea. You know, you
yeah,
can't just say, "Oh, we're gonna work with influencers on Instagram, and they're gonna help us scale." Like, who are these influencers? Who do you already have like a contact with? Like, can you show
okay,
me some proof that you understand what you're talking about? You know, because otherwise it's just like white noise. Like everybody's saying the same thing. They're like, oh yeah, you know, we're thinking about this and that. Don't think, just do it. Show some proof that you understand what you're working with, that you have an understanding of the industry and how to go to market. That's it. Or maybe you
okay.
have advisors on your advisory board that can help you open some doors. That's also a very fantastic way to yeah, to have more weight to whatever you're doing, to have experienced advisors that can help you go to market and expand.
Okay, thanks. Makes sense.
No worries. Carlos? I show Carlos with a hand up, but I guess
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to figure out how to turn on my
okay.
microphone.
No
So
worries.
for me, the question is regarding you said something about an advisory board. That would
Mm-hmm.
be, uh, could that also include like mentors and stuff that our team has? Because in our case, we have a university incubation program that we're a part of, and they
Yeah.
provide us with a mentor, and that mentor in in our particular case gave us also access to one of his friends who's a investor. Like he's been
Mm-hmm.
a big investor. So um is that also a part of a like a thing to add onto, I don't know, pitch decks, or just kind of casually
Uh,
mention it into
you
talks, or
so
is it?
this is individual, Carly. This is individual. You need to ask the person actually. You need to go to the person who's the investor guy or girl or whoever it is. Like just ask them hi or mentor. Uh, just ask them, do you mind that we add your face and your name to our pitch deck as an advisor? Just ask them,
Okay,
and
so
they're gonna say yes or no, and then you can say, okay, like this is the bio that we want to add about you, and it has to be relevant to whatever you're doing, so that when an investor looks at their face and name and background on the pitch deck, it has to add to your company what you're doing. It has to make sense. Okay, it doesn't matter that they're just like some investor. It should be industry relevant. But first things first, you need just ask the person. And sometimes startups have to pay with equity to experienced advisory board members.
yeah.
That's like a very common practice. Sometimes not. Sometimes they pay cash. Sometimes they pay nothing. So it you know it's very different, like from case to case. But if you already have a mentor that's been helping you, just ask the mentor, like, hey, do you mind that we add your name and your face to our pitch deck or to our website? Like, would that be okay? And just, go from there.
Yeah, and I had a follow-up question regarding how does this scale to like well, transfer, not scale, to startup combinators and stuff like that? Because we were with our current idea, we're currently just applying to all the summer startup combinators that could send us to San Francisco or to anywhere in America. And I'm trying to figure out whether this is the same kind of blueprint that they're going to look forward, or are these like more towards investors, and then you have to just research each of the combinators themselves about what they look for?
Combinator. So, sorry, just to rephrase, you're applying to accelerators. That's what I understand, like Y Combinator and like etc.
Yeah,
Um, Great. If you're doing that, you need to understand that your chance of getting in is like 0.00001, especially Y Combinator. Like, and you're up against like guys and girls that are already doing millions in revenue, recurring revenue, not even
yeah,
annually, but monthly. So be realistic and do what you need to do, which is build a product that sells. Go out to the customers first. Don't expect that these accelerator programs are magically going to solve anything for you. They will not. The competition is bigger than it's ever been in the history of the world, of forever, for startups, for for new companies. It's more competition than it's ever been, and no accelerator system, no Y Combinator is ever going to magically like supercharge you to build something amazing. You need to build it. And these accelerator programs, like a lot of them are a waste of time. I'm going to tell you the truth. What is not a waste of time is building a product that people need and that people actually want to pay for. So figure those things first, because anybody, like even Y Combinator or whatever, Antler, that I actually went through myself, all of these companies, all of these acceleration or incubation programs, they expect you to have figured it out already. Don't think that you can just have a genius idea and they will jump at you. They will not. You're up against already working companies, even solo founders that are already selling in the millions, that are applying for the same thing that you're applying for. So make sure that you're not working on a hobby first. Make sure that you're working on somebody's problem that somebody at scale is willing to pay for you to solve. Okay.
Right, and that would be a letter of intent, as you said previously, right?
As many as you can get.
Yeah.
If it's not real money, then it's letters of intent. Get as many as you can. So that's at least proof to something. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you have to follow up with this? Do you have any like ideas or suggestions on how to build traction like across the Atlantic Sea?
Across the Atlantic Sea.
Yeah, on America soil.
Why do you want it to cross the Atlantic Sea? Start here. I don't know what you're building. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, well, I mean, how to build traction across the Atlantic Sea? Like, whose problem are you solving? Have you nailed down your ideal customer persona? Do you actually know
we
whose
have all
problem
that.
you're solving? Okay,
Yeah,
fantastic. Then where are they? Find them.
He wants to help people leave the U.S.
Leave the U.S.
No,
Oh, okay,
no. I'm
fantastic.
just joking.
I mean,
That's what
I
I'm
think
working on.
I've
So
heard that there's quite a few these days. I've heard there's quite a few.
maybe so.
Yeah, but like, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, whose problem are you solving at scale? Just like, and then figure out, where do these people hang out? I don't care if they're in Latvia, in Germany, or in the US. Like, figure out where do they hang out and go get them. And if you can't get them, then who can? And find those people who can. Like, there's no magic wand that can't give you like, Shazam is gonna happen. That's not how it works. Like, you need to do the legwork yourself.
Yeah, all right. Got it. Appreciate you.
Great questions, though. Thank you.
I've been asked for your deck, if you'd be okay with me sending it out to the people who attended.
Sure.
If you want to give it to me,
Yeah.
and I'll pass it on.
I'll do that, Martha. I'll do that.
Great. Thank you. Any other questions? All right. Well, we have gone over, but really interesting points, and I agree with you, Sibylla, as an investor. To raise the money. We have and I put some of my upcoming workshops in. Somebody has a question for me as an investor. Our next round, our autumn rounds, the US one is starting in the middle of August. The European ones are starting in the middle of September. And if you link with me and you say you want to add on my list, I'll let you know as soon as they open up. You can apply to the US one if you have a US presence. As long as you're somewhere in Europe, you can apply to the European-ish one. And there are US investors generally in the European version as well, if you want to European versions. Says here's a question. Let's see. What is the best practice? What frequency? Let's see. With respect to a meeting to propose to a potential advisor, bi-monthly, semi-yearly. I would say, you can say differently. So a potential advisor, I would ask them how often would they like to meet. So I am an advisor for some companies. I normally like to meet every month while we're getting started, and then we can go. I mean, it depends. It depends on the relationship. It depends on the company. And Gavi's left, but medtechs, those are really difficult companies because they basically often cannot get income until after they've gone through the FDA process, unless they can manage to get some sort of advisory income or something like that. But I don't think there's any other med techs other than Gavi. All right, maybe we should let you go. For some of you, it is very late in the middle of the night.
Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, it's a bit late for me as well. Like it's 15 minutes past 10:15 p.m. at this point in Latvia where I'm calling in from. So it's like it's a very long bank holiday. Holiday.
All right. Thank you for coming in.
Well, it's been great. Yeah, thank you so much, Martha, for organizing this. Like it's been great. And yeah, I hope to keep in touch, and I hope that this was useful for everybody who joined today.
Thanks, Sibylla.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
See you.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night.
Keep in touch. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I'm going to end the meeting.